I will never forget the blinding flash of lights, the screeching of the tire, the loud noise and human screams. At 7:30 p.m. on 14th of April 1987, I was an outgoing person. I had many laurels and honors with me, and I was all set to live a good life. At 8:20 p.m., I was disabled, confined to a wheelchair, and written off by the society. I started moving from one end to the other, many rehabs and many hospitals, and finally returned back with hope and optimism. Now I am a C7, C6 quadriplegic, which means my spinal cord is broken high up in my neck and everything below my neck is paralyzed. No sensation, no movement. But I also know that I am capable. I can do almost everything in a near normal way, though pace is slow and sometimes different techniques are needed. But when I reached Bhubaneswar, my hometown, my world turned upside down. With every word, with every gesture, people made me aware that I was disabled, I was different, I did not belong, and I was written off. I was not allowed to join my job. My marriage broke down. Yet my parents pushed me forward. I went back to the university to do a PhD and suffered ultimate humiliation and rejection. Still I tried, completed my PhD and started looking for jobs. My wheelchair became a stigma. Everywhere, all that people did was looked at my wheelchair and rejected me, wrote me off. Have you ever thought twice about getting up from the bed, going to the loo, taking a bath, changing your dress, having your breakfast, and starting for your school, college, or your office? You do it. I don't think any one of you remember how you held your spoon today or your cup of tea. But each one of this, for me, is a struggle, is an effort just to reach to that office and the university from where my competition begins with you in getting higher percentage or in reaching high sales figure. I tried to get on a train. The conductor went to the extent of telling me, so what if you fall down? If you have been assigned the upper berth, there you get to sit. I tried to go up in the air, and it was such a grueling experience. From the moment I reached the airport to the moment I got out, everybody kept me asking about my disability, least concerned about how uncomfortable I was. I spent the entire flight time trying to explain to my co-passengers and the crew that disability is not contagious. I had to again and again give explanation that my presence in the aircraft will not cause any kind of havoc mid-air. Whatever I was trying to do, whether I was going to a cinema or I was trying to go out to eat or just attend a social function, ultimately turned out to be a nightmare where everybody rejected me and many a times were annoyed with my presence because they were not comfortable. The stronger the clamor, the more people said, you cannot, you cannot. A desire arose, a determination got fixed that I am going to change the landscape of disability. I am not going to let anyone decide for me what I can do, what I cannot do. I did not want others to set limits for me, and I did not want anyone to define success for me. I started reading, understanding my situation. I wanted to find out why people with disability aroused only three feelings in people: avoidance, fear, pity, or sympathy. This was not right. And in the process, I also started looking for other persons with disabilities. Where were they? I traveled across the state. When I looked for children with disabilities, I found them in special schools or at their homes. When I was looking for adults, they were either in some secluded training center or their homes or in some mela or program organized for the disabled. The minute that was over, everyone disappeared. So I ultimately found out that there were two things that needed to be done. Number one, to create an awareness among people with disabilities and their family members that disability was not something to be felt ashamed about. The second was to create enough noise that government and other stakeholders were forced to listen to your voice, understand the rationality of it, and bring about changes that were necessary. By 1990, I was volunteering with Red Cross. By 1993, I had started an organization called Shared Adventure, Recreation and Entertainment. To create visibility of people with disability, we all went out, many of us, on wheelchairs and crutches and walkers, and we were there in the seashore. Next day, all the newspapers flashed the photo. This got me understanding that people do not see persons with disabilities as living and active human beings, and this barrier had to be broken and the thoughts had to be changed. Then I got involved with the disability activities going on at the national and international levels. In 1996, I was part of DPI, Disabled People's International, which has a consultative status in the United Nations in India. I was traveling across the world, and the philosophy which most attracted me, I felt it was very powerful, was nothing for us without us. Every time I came home, I started writing letters. By then, I had understood the power of knowledge and the power of accurate dissemination of that knowledge, that information, in different languages, a language for politicians, a language for development practitioners, a language for layman, and a language for government. As I kept writing letters, I often got responses as to Shruti, how many more letters are you going to write? Our files are full with it. And today, many of them confess that my letters were both education and awareness for them. As there was nothing much happening in India, anything that was happening across the world, wherever I was, I collected those and disseminated to all government departments. Some officers always responded to me by saying, "Why are you writing to us? There is a department where disability is there. Go and write to that concerned secretary." I started understanding the situation, so read a lot. And I was also looking for the others who were disabled. When I looked for children, they were either at home or in special schools. When I looked for adults, they were either in some secluded training center or an association or at home or in some mela or a program organized for the disabled. And minutes after that, they all disappeared. This invisibility of the disabled and the silence around development discourse on disabilities bothered me a little bit, and I thought these things need to change. Two things were needed. One was to create awareness among those who were disabled, their family members, that there is nothing to be ashamed of if born or otherwise disabled. One has to learn to be comfortable with the disabled body, because a human being is far more than the physical body. The other which was necessary was to create a lot of noise so that the government and other stakeholders took notice of us as human beings first and disabled second. By 90s, I was volunteering in Red Cross. By 93, I founded an organization called Share. I wanted to create some visibility. I wanted people to see us. And many of us, somebody on a wheelchair, somebody on crutches, somebody on a walker, we all went to the sea beach. And next day, we were all over the newspapers in the front page. In 93-94, I got involved with the disability movement at the national level, and in 96, I became a member of DPI. Disabled People's International was then a consultative body in the United Nations working in cross-disability, that is, across all disabilities. I traveled, I learned, and whatever I learned, I came back home and tried to replicate. I started writing letters because the philosophy of DPI appealed to me, which said, nothing for us without us. So anything that was happening at the international sphere, because then very little was happening back home, I used to share with the secretaries, write to all the departments, and the standard response which I got was, please write to your department. That is the disability, the department which dealt with disability. I had to again and again repeat, write, explain, talk in the media that why should I be confined to one department? If it's my education, I should go to education department. If it is sports, then I should go to the sports department. If it concerned a youth who had disability, they should go to the youth department. And today, many of the officers, they say me, my letters with both education and awareness work. Not just that, now by law, every department is mandated to have a budget for disability, to have a 4% reservation for people with disabilities, and to have a nodal officer who will take care of disability-related issues. Then we did not have any legal structure to support our claims, and in 1995, when across the nation we all marched forward, we protested, we walked towards the parliament in Delhi in protest, the first law of India was passed, that is PWD Act 1995, Persons with Disabilities Act, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights and Fulfillment of All Obligations. And for the first time in India, we had structured budget allocation, not from any charity perspective, but from the perspective of education, employment, sports, culture, and other rights. Once we had the law, we were all jubilant because every time we asked the government, they said there is no budget allocation. There is nothing called as a law for the disabled. So now with this new law, we marched towards them. But what a shock we got. When government, when planning commission, when other departments, they asked us, what is your number? In census, we had not been counted for several years. Till 1930s, there were some numbers. Then in 1991, we had not been counted. And this number was less than 1%. So government said, unless you are counted in country census, unless there is a number, there will be no budget allocation for you and no development. So we rushed forward, we went to the Census Commissioner's office requesting that we be counted. They said, no, there is no time for all this thing. So a lot of melodrama, protest, going to burn ourselves, we were protesting across India, and finally a meeting was held under the chairpersonship of the then Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, and he called the concerned officials like the Disability Minister, Mrs. Maneka Gandhi, Arun Shourie, and there was the Census Commissioner, Mr. Banthia, and it was decided that persons with disabilities will be counted. There was very little time, and I remember running the length and breadth of Odisha, meeting anyone possible, everyone, even funding bodies, and requesting them that please help us to train the enumerators so that we get counted. The time was short, resources very short, but finally a number emerged. That is, we were 2.1% of the population of India, and this was a big victory for us because this was the beginning of budget allocation and developmental progress of the disability sector. In 2011, we were ready. So before the census started by 2010, early 2010, we had meetings with the Census Commissioner, questions were being framed, discussions were held, how many disabilities will be counted, what will be the process, how the enumerators will be trained, and the question number 9, the question on disability, moved from 15 to 9, bringing in more disability. And there was also a bunch all around the country, there was a lot of publicity, and finally we were counted. Though we were not very happy when the results came out, but the number was significantly higher. It was 2.21% across India. And in Odisha, where my volunteers, my students, my team members had worked day and night, the number was highest 2.9%. and I consider it a huge victory. By this time, I was a member of National Disability Network, National Committee on Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and at home I had founded Swabhiman, an organization which focused on providing information to people with disabilities across the length and breadth of Odisha and also the eastern states. I also realized that advocacy will be successful only when it is consistent, it is persistent, and is backed with enough of research and survey. So we focused all our strength in getting the correct information, compiling it, creating databases, researching on that, analyzing, and coming up with explanations, coming up with analysis that hit the government right in the bull's eye. Very soon I realized that success comes with collective voices. When people come together, and Odisha State Disability Network became a very powerful organization, and presently there are close to 150 organizations from across Odisha. Through this network, through collective voices, we brought about significant changes in the state. The laws mandated that there should be a disability commissioner to hear our grievances, but there was none for 15 years. And all of us came together, wrote letters, sent charter of demands, started on a protest march, and finally reached the Chief Minister, leader of the opposition, and it was but a matter of time that the first disability commissioner was appointed in Odisha. We went ahead during the elections, unable to vote. We were unhappy about our citizenship. Many of you will not be able to understand this. I think all of you take your citizenship for granted because you just go on that day and vote. For us to cast a vote was a Herculean challenge. In 2004, we had to file a petition in the court, and the Supreme Court finally came out with an instruction, with a notice which said that all the polling booths should have ramps. So very delighted, in 2009, I had reached my polling booth only to observe that not only it was inaccessible, but people's attitude was also very negative. The poll officers, the people who were casting their vote, everybody was irritated because here was a person with disability sitting on a chair, requiring assistance to be lifted, requiring assistance to be taken inside the polling booth. See, there was no space in between the tables. The doorways were very narrow. The ballot box was at a height. So naturally it took time and I inconvenienced all. At that point I felt my vote is so unwanted. But consistent advocacy, and in 2018, Government of India, our Central Election Commission declared that this 2019 election will be celebrated as accessible elections. So 2019, here I come, happy and free to cast my vote. Accessibility is one of the major challenges in the life of any person with disability. In 2000, when Stephen Hawking came to India, he expressed the desire to see Red Fort, Qutub Minar, and Lal Qilla and Taj Mahal. It was an opportunity for us, and all of us jumped towards it in the leadership of Javed Abidi to talk to ministers, write to them, write to Archaeological Survey of India to make these places accessible. The reply, as always, was no. Heritage sites cannot be made accessible by using wooden ramps and such structures. We took recourse to the law, and finally the court came out with a verdict that it has to be made accessible. That found its ripple effect here in Odisha. I remember going around talking to ministers, officers, MLAs, media, and telling them how important it was to create a level playing ground by making physical buildings accessible, transport accessible, websites accessible, schools and employment training centers accessible. And today, many years later, in 2015, when the Accessible India campaign was flagged off by the Prime Minister, this section of people got a new lease of life, because very soon, we have already started the process. I, through my organization Swabhiman, have audited 600 government buildings across India. I and my team, and these buildings will very soon be accessible to everyone, whether you have a speech impairment or a visual impairment or a mobility impairment. Another challenge in life is education. When the Right to Education Act was passed in 2009, everyone celebrated because 25% of the seats in private schools were reserved for the underprivileged children. But where were the children with disability? There was no mention of them in the definition. Again, we started protests, demonstrations, writing letters, consistent advocacy. When finally the amendments came out, it said that in this 25% of children who get admitted will also include children with disability from the neighborhood areas. Another instance of accessibility that I remember is Lord Jagannath's temple. I had gone there with all excitement and happiness that I am going to see the Lord. And one of the priests came forward and told me, I don't know how many sins you have committed in your past lives that you are on a wheelchair. Do you want to commit more by coming inside the temple on a rubberized wheelchair and suffer more in next lives? This time, tears did not roll out, but there is a strong resolve that this needs to change. And I still remember the day the collector of Puri and other dignitaries, and there I was rolling up into the Jagannath temple in a man-made tram. Will I ever forget the delight and the happiness? In 1987, when an accident left me on the wheelchair, everyone rejected me and my life had come to a standstill. But today, in India, we have 5 strong laws. At the UN, we have the International Convention on Rights of Persons with Disability, and the dialogues around sustainable development are inclusive. We should all work towards inclusive goals. Back here, right here at home, we have Make in India, we have Skill India, we have Accessible India. So now we have an infrastructure, now we have an ecosystem where persons with disabilities can live with dignity as equal partners. But law can mandate, law cannot change heart. So implementation of the law and successful implementation of the law will come when attitudes change. This cannot happen. I cannot do it alone. Here I need you. Together, you and me have to come together. We have to understand our differences. We have to appreciate our successes. And then together, you and me can change hearts to create a beautiful country where everyone is respected for their abilities and no one looks at inability.